Welcome. This is V-Date 2020, October 25 of the Fever Dreams live recording podcast, which turned into a vodcast. And today I have with me, it depends on where we are recording this, but I will point over there to Cypher Orion, who will be my co-host. Welcome, Cypher.
Hello.
And we have a special guest today, which is MrLiveProducer, who is down here.
Hello.
Welcome in. And we are going to talk about all the VR things again.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you.
Well, that's all right. Go ahead. If you don't interrupt me, I just keep talking and talking and talking because everything's fine.
Yeah, as we can see from your background, everything is fine. Yeah. We all have our cup of coffee and we will have a snip there.
Let me try and cool it off for you a little bit.
Oh, okay, yeah. That gesture totally indicated something different, but it's okay. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
You. Mm-hmm. Okay. No. Okay. Let's go on. So what has happened? What has? Yeah. No, I won't elaborate on that.
I'm honestly in the dark on this one. Okay.
No worries. No worse. Yeah, some things have happened recently in the last 2 weeks, and as we have this kind of point list where we are talking about the topics of today, the first thing which I totally have not on the list, the document is shared on the Discord there. Tancho got it, just to mention what I was referring to, but yeah. And what I don't have put in there is what we have been playing lately, because that's totally something I'm interested in, and maybe our viewers and listeners as well. So let's start with Cypher. What did you play in the last 2 weeks? Or even 4 weeks, because because you couldn't be on the last cast. So there have been past 4 weeks where you had a lot of time to play things. Tell us all about it.
Well, actually, about a month ago, I've had low energy weeks, but last couple of weeks I've been playing a lot of synth riders since I got this shiny new Oculus Quest 2. It's been working quite well. But
we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yep, I know. I'm excited to talk about it. And some Population 1.
That's the new.
It just came out the last couple of days, and I had access to the beta for a little bit, and I had a lot of fun with it after playing other games like
that's Battle Royale in VR. Is that correct? Yes. Like PUBG or the other Battle Royale games which are out there?
Yeah, exactly. It's basically if you took virtual battlegrounds and added the ability to build walls and ceilings.
Okay.
Yeah, so you basically have to find resources in order to build walls and ceilings, and you find weapons and things just like you would in any other battle royale style game, and it's it's a shootout.
I'm not familiar with battle royale games because that's not a genre I got hooked into, and probably that's because I'm not good at it. But that's fine.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I have a love-hate relationship with the genre myself.
But the only battle royale game that comes into my mind where you can build walls and roofs and etc. that's Fortnite. Because I think you can't do that in PUBG, can you?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's kind of unique to Fortnite, and they say it's like Fortnite in VR, but it's really not. It's just that one little mechanic, just that one part of it. They're the starting mechanic, the launch mechanic. They basically have these I think it's 3 or 5 platforms where you either run off or you jump into this like pod thing that blasts you across the map, and you can choose where to eject from it, and that's where you end up dropping. It feels a lot more like, I would say, Apex in VR, but it's like a really slimmed down version of it where everyone has the same ability, and that's to build, and then all the weapons and everything don't have attachments, so it's like very simplified from Apex, something like that. But I think it's more comparable to the gameplay freneticism, is that a word? Like how fast the gameplay is, and like the gunplay style. Although you can't like dual wield things, and you can't switch weapon hands or anything like that. And I think there's a little bit of polish that they could add to it that'll really we'll see that the game kind of evolve as it goes along, I think. If they keep it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's pretty new, and I saw some people playing it, but I didn't try it for myself yet. One thing is, I don't know if it works for me. The other thing is, Battle Royale is not my kind of genre.
It's not really my genre either, honestly.
But VR makes things better, right?
Yeah, it does. It's a really different experience in VR playing Battle Royale than it is playing it flat.
I mean, there was this statement that, especially for movies in the cinema, if it's bad, make it 3D. I don't know if that's also true for games. If it's bad, make it virtual reality. Yeah, that's a bold statement, I guess.
There's something to be said for some genres and the way that they translate, and some of the the physicality they can add to the games when you're going from 3D into virtual reality 3D, as opposed to doing like 2D to 3D translation where things get really weird.
How about movement in Population 1? I mean, we know there are these two major movement styles, locomotion and teleportation. What is used there?
They use sliding motion. It is predominantly sliding motion. They have some locomotion. What are they called? Blanking on a word right now. That sucks.
Teleport?
Accessibility options. That's what I was going for.
Okay.
Yeah, some accessibility options like the vignette and snap turning versus smooth turning and those kind of things. But there is smooth climbing, and you do have to deal with that. So if you're,
okay,
if you're not okay with your view moving around a lot and those kind of things, and they make you sick, then prepare for a little bit of a rough experience going in. I'm a firm believer that people can kind of smooth out their motion sickness experience if it's not too extreme. You can kind of like train your brain not to react to it quite as much when you're in VR because you're not physically anywhere in danger. But there's also the flying mechanic, which is really cool, where you can just kind of leap off a building, hold your hands out, and then you're literally soaring through the air. You can
I
direct which way you're
believe I
going.
can
You
fly.
can shoot it.
No.
Yeah. It's
How
really
many times have you said, Wendy, I can fly?
None. None. I haven't. I didn't think to say that.
Oh.
And I haven't been
Not
playing
even
with
in your
anyone named
fever
Jack.
dreams?
No. Well, that's okay. Relevant pun, but I'm not sure. Okay.
That was a good one, wasn't it?
I don't know.
That physically hurts me.
It kind of hurt. Yeah.
Oh well.
What have you been playing, Corbin?
New games. I haven't played new games. Pancake. I've been continuing my journey in the Metro universe, where I'm still where I started with Metro 2033 and continued with Metro Last Light, and then transitioned to the third game in the series, which is Metro Exodus, and I'm even playing that on Stadia because I got that with the Founders Edition subscription I have there for free. And
any word from Stadia on the VR games?
I think that doesn't work because the latency is too high, way too high. At least regarding what you need in VR. I mean, even though I have now my fiber connection and the latency it shows is down to 4 milliseconds for a streaming service. Oh my gosh, that's like pretty damn good. I mean, there's a jitter butter of about 25 milliseconds, but still. Okay. But I think for VR, you need something like below 11 milliseconds without jitter, I think. And that's why probably that doesn't work yet. So maybe in the future, when there is something you can even get a lower latency, maybe that will work then. But technically, I think it's not possible to stream VR games via game streaming services in general.
Interesting. Yeah.
Nevertheless, for Pancake gaming and steering, that's totally fine. So I have like no issues there. It's pretty convenient. You don't have to install it and wait for updates. No, it's all done. You just hit that play button and it starts up pretty quick. So I kind of like it, even though I still prefer to have stuff on my PC. But still, those streaming services are at least an option, especially if you don't want to upgrade your rig. Because they are running on pretty decent hardware and you can amp up it is already amped up to more or less the maximum you can get in the game. They're using Vulkan, so they're not using one of the older APIs, so they have pretty fast responses with their API. You can have low-level access on the hardware, and that makes it pretty fast for rendering stuff. And yeah, I think if you don't want to upgrade your rig, like
35, that's not anything to cough on.
I mean, now with Cyberpunk 2077 on the horizon, I heard already people saying, yeah, that won't run on my PC, but I'm thinking about getting the Stadia version. So yeah, why not? If your potato can decode those streams you get there, I think that's totally fine. But yeah, no VR on gaming services, streaming services yet. The other thing,
sad panda.
yeah. The other thing I've been playing was the latest update of GTFO, which does not mean get the F out, means something else, but we don't know yet. But there was an update that dropped last Thursday, and we started to play that. I like that a lot. 4-player co-op game by former Payday 2 developers. So if you're into co-op and you have teammates you can rely on, because the subtitle of that game is Work Together or Die Together, which is totally true. If one messes up, the whole team gets wiped easily. That's much fun. And regarding VR, I have also been playing Synth Riders a lot, as well as Beat Saber again.
I love the Beat Saber. That
and we will come to Beat Saber in a bit as well. So, Mr. Live Producer, what's about your gaming experience in the last few weeks?
Okay, all right. Flat, I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3 with my other half, so every day or so we play maybe 2 hours of Baldur's Gate 3, and we're enjoying ourselves in that game. That's been very interesting.
That's a time-consuming game, isn't it?
It's only the early access, so only like the first part of Act 1's there, but
it's not finished even. Okay.
I'm looking at my play time. It's like 22 hours of Baldur's Gate 3 already.
Wow.
For early access game, it is really well done. Mind you, there is so many comical glitches, it's not funny.
Oh.
Actually, it is funny.
Comical
It's so many comical glitches, like...
Wouldn't that inherently be funny if they're comical glitches?
When you got two versions, you got the Vulkan version and DirectX 11. The Vulkan version, sometimes when you kill somebody, their body glitches and all geometry just goes into complete another craziness.
Cool.
It's completely nuts.
Oh, that's interesting because I know it's running on Stadia as well, and they have to have a Vulkan version. Yeah. So maybe they have those glitches there as well, and that means probably it will get.
They would have.
That would get fixed soon.
Those. Oh no! Half the fun of those games is it's almost as bad as a Fallout 4 Bethesda game. So many glitches, but it's fun glitches. I'm just looking through the games I've played this last couple of weeks. I played Marvel Avengers every now and again, just maybe for about half an hour every day, just to see how it's going. Played maybe an hour or so of Res Infinite as well in VR. So the original Res in VR, that is fun.
Resident Evil, that is, or
no, Res Infinite. The Res game.
It's a music racing.
Yeah, it's a music. It's music rhythm game.
I haven't heard about that yet.
Oh, it's a really, really interesting game, but it's actually got a VR version of it, which is I played it for a while just because I didn't have the space to do Beat Saber and all the other stuff I normally do because I spent the last week getting prepped for an event, and when I get prepped for an event, my whole room becomes pretty much full of equipment.
Okay.
So I haven't done that much VR lately. If I have done VR, it's been seated, not full body VR, which is somewhat interesting and somewhat annoying sometimes because it makes everything weird. But I'll post a link to the PlayStation 4 version in chat because that's what I found quickly. But it's also on Steam and other stuff. But I also have a lot of games, and I had to reformat my PS4 last week. So I'm playing through Persona 5 Royal again to get back to where I was.
Oh my god!
Talking about Persona 5 games. Those games have 100 to 120 hour time sinks of games.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes. Yeah. So, I heard about that.
I have to replay the game so I get back to where I was because I wanted to play Ghost of Tsushima, and it's like, Ghost of Tsushima's not working. All right, shut down, restart. Oh fudge!
Yeah.
All right, and That's my current offline game I play. But once I get through Persona 5 Royal, I'll probably play through Persona 4 Golden on stream. I might start streaming that kind of game on my streams because I want to start branching out from VR games because of Twitch, which is another thing. But yeah, other games I've been playing, just random stuff like that came in the post a couple of days ago. That's Ultimate Alliance 3.
Oh, Nintendo Switch.
If you don't know, I collect a lot of games. I have a very, very large game collection.
Cool.
Very, very large game collection. It is stupid large game collection.
You should you could pull that up behind you, couldn't you?
Yes, I will if I can. So talk amongst yourselves while I try to find a photo of my game collection.
All right.
It's like, wait, what do we have? What do we have next?
The next would be, at least on our show note sheet, the VR gaming news, and there we are with the game collection.
Yeah, if you have the
Mr.
video,
Live.
take a look at this. That is an impressive.
So I see
there.
PlayStation 4, I see Xbox games just from the boxes.
Original Xbox 360. I have up to and including Atari 2600s.
Very
games.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's the game collection. PS4, PSVR. I do have a couple of PS4 VR, got a couple of PSPs, I have a lot of games.
And I thought I would collect games, but that's nothing.
No.
No. Okay, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Nice. That looks really nice. Yeah, but as we were about to hop to the next topic there, VR gaming news. And we have shortly talked about that, just shortly. Beat Saber got updated.
Did.
And it got updated twice, which means the first update was... Yeah, the first update was, of course, for us streamers, breaking all the mods.
Yep.
That was expected. That's happening every time because you have to hook into all the functions again from more or less scratch and have to adapt things here and there. So it's normal that they break, which is a pity because a lot of people don't know that. And then they blame the developers, hey, you're doing that intentionally, which is not true.
Why are you breaking your mods?
Yeah, that's just not true. It's you compile it new and then the functions are at different locations, so you have to find them again. So that's normal. Nevertheless, they had some really neat new features. For example, that new UI. I liked that new UI a lot, which is a curved view. And the solo button now has a dabbing Beat Saber player, which is not that bad. That's so cool.
That's gotta be homage to one of the top Beat Saber players. That has to be. That's all I can think of.
Or they have like a D6 at the office and they roll it and it came up with a natural one. What pose are you gonna put in here? Roll D6. Dab. Right. Really?
Time to roll.
Oh god.
Yeah, either way. I mean,
we rolled the dab. That's
it is how it is. I mean, the new UI I think looks way better than the previous one. I think that's a good improvement. That's the one thing. And the other thing is multiplayer. Integrated multiplayer, no mod needed anymore, and it's even good. At least from my opinion. I like it.
Yeah, so far it's been working splendidly. I'm glad they listened to the community finally and said, oh, we'd better kick multiplayer out sooner rather than later. All right, let's do it. And they did it, and now it's good.
I haven't done any Beat Saber since the update because getting prep for events and stuff, just the whole office being full.
Understandable. Mess. Yeah, look forward to it because it's really cool. At least
support was rough at first, but apparently it's working.
Yeah.
Now it's working, and with mods starting to work again, it's even more fun. And to be able to...
Not ready. My forearms are not ready.
Oh.
God. How many times have people put Camellia into the multiplayer request queue from your ends?
So far, I mean, it's not... I think it's in the works, but so far with multiplayer, you can only play the stock songs and the DLC songs. But there's something in the works. It will be... I mean, Camellia songs are there as well.
Yeah, how many times have you dealt with people saying, "Oh, let's just play Orchid Melon"? Going, "Oh, come on."
I mean, you can
No.
turn on no fail for everybody. Then you can at least listen to the song. But you have now
I just do
little
like this half the time.
you have now these cute avatars where you have this cube head and just the body a little bit and the floating arms. And you can customize it a little bit for your own. So you can change the hair, the style, the colors. You can change your face a little bit with your eyes. You can have different type of hands. Your body can change a little bit with the hoodie or with something else. So that's pretty fun. And especially you can do like gestures there. For example, if you take that lightsaber and do this gesture, and somebody has these X out eyes and does this, it totally works. That looks pretty funny. And what I think is also pretty nice, they have different perspectives depending on how many people are playing. So if only 2 people are playing, you are watching your line and you see your opponent right next to you in parallel.
Yeah.
So
really...
you are facing each other, which is pretty nice. And the more people are chiming in, then you are arranged in a circle. And then you see the others further out, but you can still kind of see them. And that's pretty cool. Also, it
was a good execution of multiplayer, I think.
Yeah. Also, what's in there, you can actually see who is above you. And I mean that literally, because they change the height of the players then. So if the other is better than you and has a higher score, you are lowered and the other one is on a higher level. And you can see that adjusting depending on your score. That's a nice feature.
Okay. Well, I understand now.
Yeah, so MrLiveProducer said already he didn't play Beat Saber at all yet. Have you played the multiplayer already? Or the update of Beat Saber?
Yeah, I played a little bit. See, I didn't notice the sorry. No, I didn't notice the lower or like the height difference thing when I was playing with people because I was always on top with the people that I was playing with. So it was like, everyone's. I just figured everyone was below you when you were playing, so that you could see everyone.
I think if that's only really visible when you're one-on-one, then you see that directly. And if you play with more people, then the player who is above you will project his avatar into the sky, and then you see him in big. But I don't know the height adjustment, if that's in the with more than 2 people playing, if that's there as well. I didn't pay attention that much. I don't know. But there is an indicator.
I've only played a little bit. I've mostly been playing with the Quest 2.
Yeah, we will come to that in a bit. So much about the big new Beat Saber update, which also I think refreshes the gameplay a little bit, because Beat Saber was all the same now for, when was the last big update? Half a year ago or even longer? I mean, we know
Green Day?
that's just the DLC.
So the DLCs. I think the 360 update was really the biggest.
Yeah, but that's quite a while ago. Yeah, and even there, you need to have special maps, so it's not available for all other maps. So you need to have special maps. That's the difference, for example, for the spin mode in Synth Riders, where it works with each map, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really
cool. But yeah, that last big Beat Saber update, that's quite a while ago. So this one really changed again the gameplay and how people are seeing it. So more people are interested in Beat Saber again, which is really nice.
Yeah,
it's really nice what they've done. It's just everything else is going on in Twitch and Twitter and all that stuff is gonna hurt a lot of that stuff soon, I reckon.
Yeah, we will talk about that as well in a bit.
Should we just segue into that?
No.
We can directly. The other thing that I have at least on the bullet point list is the Deca gear. Yeah. This is now hardware related already. So from gaming to hardware.
Since we're already on the topic, we might as well. We can just rearrange things a little bit, can't we?
Sure. We can totally.
We'll have a look.
Feel free. You can edit the show notes on the fly if you want to rearrange things.
Oh, the goggles.
Yeah,
The
the
Deca Link.
pretty inexpensive ones even. So they are pretty cheap regarding to all the other headsets for what they offer. For example, they have like eye tracking and mouth tracking, and they even have a hip tracker. So I think it's mostly invented or meant for social interaction. It will work with games as well, but the intention about that is probably something like, what was that called? Second Life?
Second Life? Yeah.
Second Life, where you had this social
VR
interaction.
Chat. Yeah, VR
Now it's VR chat.
VR chat.
Yeah.
Was it the company Sansa or Sin? So I forget the name of the company, but they tried to do Second Life in VR, basically.
Oh, yeah, I know that one.
Yeah, and to make that a little bit more immersive, you need something like that. You need to see the expressions of other people's in VR, and that only kind of works with face tracking and mouth tracking and stuff, eye tracking and whatever.
Yep. They just released a video of one of their employees working on the face tracking features on it too.
Yeah, I saw the YouTube videos there. And their feet tracker or whatever that was that they were putting on their feet, where you can see how they move. Or was that the hip tracker? One had it on it.
It comes with a hip tracker.
Yeah, but they had that on their feet as well.
I didn't see all of the videos for it. Okay, interesting. Maybe they have an add-on for it that you can get later on. It comes standard with the hip tracker, but feet. It's really interesting, though. I mean, like they've got a lot of promises coming out of nowhere. Like this company came out of nowhere, and I guess the guy who started it had started a couple of other companies, and he had an incubator, I guess, and that's probably, I don't know. I surmise that's where this came from. That's all I saw in the article that I read about the Deca, but the promises that they're making on it are pretty bold. I mean, it looks like it's a cable design, 4K for both eyes, and that sounds delicious. I love the controller design. If you look at those, it looks like kind of a mashup between the Knuckles controllers and the Quest 2 controllers. Quest 2, yeah, just because they have the loop on the top. But I'm fascinated by it, and I think it looks like a great piece of equipment. I really hope that it hits testing and it hits reviews so that we can see what it's capable of.
Yeah, I saw the similarities to the Knuckles with the strap you have on the back of your hand, where you can like release it again. So they will have some pressure thingy maybe as well as finger tracking. Finger tracking is in there for sure. I saw that already in action on their videos.
I read somewhere on it that it had both a trigger and a grip trigger, like an analog grip thing, along with the finger tracking, but it didn't look like it did on the image of the controller. So that might have been conflicting evidence or conflicting information. I would prefer it that way personally, having both a trigger for both of these fingers and then having tracking for the rest of them as well, or having the capability to like slide your hand down underneath that, and then you can have full finger tracking for 3, and then you've also got an analog for your middle finger. Because like holding on to things like when you're climbing in some games, it gets really weird on Knuckles controllers. I've heard from a lot of different Knuckles users where you have to like fully open your hand and close your hand in order to do that climbing motion. So you're really working your hands when you're doing it, instead of on like CV1 or touch where you can just kind of middle finger tap like this.
Yeah.
Like like there we go. Here's a 5-1. Just like the little button there. It's like
oh, the grip. Yeah, the grip buttons.
Yeah, the side grip button on the Vans. Not so that comfortable. Good idea in the beginning.
These feel like tanks, but oh god, it's horrible controls sometimes.
Yeah, I think
pressure, like a pressure grip would have been better on that, I think.
Yeah, controller design I think has evolved a little bit since the first headsets came out.
Oh yeah.
And I think we totally see that now with the Knuckles and the Deca gear, which is coming up. So yeah, especially the price point is pretty interesting, as it's about $450.
Yeah, that's USD, right?
USD.
Yeah. So it will be a little bit different in other countries, but still, I mean, okay, they do have inside-out tracking, if I saw that correctly. But but
so
still,
like 4 camera inside-out tracking, very much like the Quest systems.
Yeah, but still, I mean, even though the first Windows Mixed Reality headsets, you could get really cheap ones for $150, like the Lenovo Explorer, if you could make a good deal. For example, if you bought 10 at once, and then you could lower the price a little bit when you were a good negotiator. But yeah,
Explorers.
is that it's maybe a good entrance into VR, but you will soon want to upgrade.
They are great headsets for people who don't need to have like all the whiz bangs. They're great, as you said, introduction headsets. Like when I had to replace my Vive headset December last year because the cable on it broke. I was just using my Lenovo Explorer headset for Beat Saber. Yeah.
No.
Not a great experience.
That was a good experience. It kept me going. But it's like,
oh well.
Yeah.
As soon as my headset
enough,
went back,
but it was a little.
There's a difference.
Said, it's a great headset when you want to go portable. All you need is just a HDMI and a USB and Bluetooth. That's all you need, and you just plug it in and you're golden. Okay. It's a great portable set for people who want to experience VR. And once they've experienced VR using that headset, you can then say, that was the low end of the market. This is what some of the new stuff is.
Indeed.
Like I was very lucky. I was able to get my Lenovo headset for like $99 Australian.
Yeah, I mean it's like
new, mind you. There was a major price. Did a price mislabeling, and I was able to get for that price. It was insane. I can tell the story more again later. I just have to think about it again. Yeah, that's 450 USD is about 630 Australian for that headset. So that's pretty good for VR in Australia. VR in Australia is like stupid prices.
Yeah, they don't even have the index in Australia. It's not sold.
No,
that's really a shame. Don't know why.
This is my sad face.
I mean, they're already having a hard time supplying the market as it is. Maybe they're just like, well, we're just going to have to skip this country that's completely on the opposite side of the world because it's going to be the hardest place to ship to, or something like that. I don't know.
To put in perspective, this in Australia, to get a replacement OG Vive wand, $250 Australian.
Yikes! Just one?
To get just one.
Whew.
Okay.
That's how expensive Vive is in Australia. Any VR in Australia.
Yeah, well, maybe we have to look. I mean, it's not out yet, the Deca gear. And let's hope they also release in Australia. So.
Okay, they have dropped the price a little. It's now 200 Australian.
Yay! Saving $50. Well, that's at least something.
A Vive tracker, just a simple puck, is 170.
Yeah. That's expected probably if the controllers are already that expensive.
If you run the Vive Pro, the controller for that is $310 Australian. The Vive Pro wand, $310. It's actually cheaper to buy a new Vive headset and part it out and sell what you don't need than get and make
yeah. Yeah, I get that. I mean, in a bundle, it's mostly cheaper. That's normal. The separate parts are mostly always more expensive, but yeah.
Lighthouses are $200 each.
I mean, it is how it is. We don't make the prices. We can just wonder.
I wish we could.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, if that would possible, everybody would have VR. So for people,
that's what we need.
Yeah. So for people who are interested in getting into VR, those cheaper headsets are totally needed because an index, that's not what everybody wants to pay for. Also, with that high resolution, you need a kind of decent PC as well. So some people do have.
That's a great thing that Oculus and Facebook have done with the Quest. They marked it at the right price point for introductory people to get into it.
People just getting into
perspective,
65.
I'm looking right now online at how much a Valve Index will cost from Amazon.com. You can't even see at the moment, but a Valve Index, $3,100 plus free delivery is how much.
Free delivery at least.
You get a Valve Index in Australia through Amazon.com.au.
Oh well.
So anyway,
I mean, there are now options where you can have cheaper headsets or headsets that are less expensive, because cheap has always this it's bad attitude at it. So cheap, the word.
Yeah.
So no, less expensive, but still good. And there are these standalone headsets available right now. And for example, there has been a new version coming out with the 2 at the end. And we have somebody here who was able to try that. And we are talking now about the Oculus Quest 2. For me, it's over there.
Yeah.
For you, it's over there. Cypher?
For me, it's up there.
What?
Start going. Tell us all about that
right
white thing.
Is
it new?
It's brand new.
Is it good?
Ooh,
It's very shiny. I really like it. And actually,
it's not pink yet?
No, it's not pink yet. I do have paint. I do have the paint. I will be painting my Quest 2 pink. I'm just haven't gotten brave enough to. Well, and one other thing. My unit is actually has a manufacturing flaw in it. If you look right here, it's kind of pinched. I don't know if I'm blurring that out too much, but yeah, it's actually
quality control. What's that?
Yeah, it's actually pinched on the plastic. It's kind of fun. So yeah, besides the slight manufacturing flaw that my unit has, it's been a wonderful unit. I've had my face in an Oculus Rift S, and I like the screen on those actually a little bit better than the index screens, just because there's less screen dooring. But the index screens are very crisp, very high resolution. These, it blew my mind how high resolution it looks in this with the single LCD panel. It's really, really good. Coming from a CV1 for the last 2 years, having experienced the Index and the Rift S being higher resolution, I can't compare it to like the Vive Pro, but I would say this is probably one of the highest resolution headsets on the market right now. And it was just ridiculous to me, the jump in resolution from the CV1 to this.
How does it compare to the Index then? If you would even, if that one still blows your mind and you have your head,
they're comparable. I would say they're comparable, and this might be a little better, but I don't have an Index to compare it directly to. If you do, I would say check it out. Anti-aliasing for the text. The anti-aliasing is very, very, very low. Or sorry, the aliasing is very low. When you're looking at text, you can notice a tiny bit of aliasing, but I'm going to attribute that to the fact that it's an XR2 processor. That's top of the line mobile VR processor, not top of the line CP GPU. So you're not going to be able to push necessarily as much data through it to accomplish those kind of things. But the lenses, the only thing that I really didn't like about it is how they have the lens separation thing, where it's not like a slider anymore. It kind of clicks into 3 different positions. And then you can kind of fudge it into the position between them if your eyes are in kind of a weird spot. Like my IPD is around 65, and that's right between the settings 2 and 3 on this. So I have to kind of like wedge it between those 2 settings, but it does stay in place when you do that. The only thing that it doesn't adjust is the actual software portion of it for some reason. So sometimes the focal point on the screen itself is a little bit off. Let's see. It charges in about, I would say, an hour and a half. It's lasted me 3.5 to 4 hours. When I
Off
was
one
doing it,
charge.
yeah, off one charge. When I
Nice.
was one of the first things that I was super excited about was using it wirelessly with my PC, and you can do that a couple of different ways with like virtual desktop or ALVR. And I was going the ALVR route. I purchased an AX200 Intel router. It was TP-Link brand that I tossed on here, and I unfortunately ran into an issue with Windows and the Quest 2, where it will not connect and allow you through to the internet through the Windows hotspot I'm not sure why. I've Googled the issue. I've looked around. It works with my phone just fine. They're both Android devices, so it makes no sense to me that this wouldn't work, but my phone does. Like, it should have
Okay.
internet access. Yeah. Um, so that was the only issue that I ran into with that. So I ended up having to go over my router, 5 gigahertz. I get about 30 to 35 milliseconds latency, which is playable.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on network conditions, I've gotten better than that. It's been between 20 and 35 or so. And like I can adjust to that. I've been able to play through some Expert Plus Beat Saber maps with the latency. It's very noticeable. Like your sabers are swinging behind, so you do this and then it comes down.
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's a little bit noticeable. Um, and it's really kind of devastating in synth riders. I do have to play synth riders very carefully because
Okay.
those orbs are coming at you so quickly, and you have to have such precision on them. Your hand's
Yeah.
delayed by that much. It's like,
Oh
no, I need to.
no.
Yeah, so you have to move your hand just a little bit ahead of where you're going. But once you adjust to that, it's just as much fun, and you have more freedom because you can spin around, and I love spinning around.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes, you do.
S-
Wireless is really a relief.
right. Um, the tracking on it, well, I can talk about 3 different ways that it does tracking too, because ALVR uses a predictive algorithm that's kind of not great because it uses the headset data, and then it also uses software prediction based on that based on that data. So if you're trying to play Beat Saber really fast, it tends to lag your sabers behind a little bit. It's not great over ALVR
Mm-hmm.
for games like Beat Saber, but natively, the tracking is good. I would say it is not quite as good as like CV1 or Lighthouse tracking, but nearly there. Nearly there.
Wow. Okay, that
Some,
improved a lot then.
yeah,
That's a bold claim.
well, part of what I would say kind of kills it is that there's definitely some clear distortion in some of the camera views when you're looking through the pass through. You can move your hands
Mhm.
around and it looks like your hand, but then in some spots it's kind of like warpy looking. And I'm guessing that's probably some of the transitional portions between the cameras. Um, and if it's using the same cameras for the tracking, I would surmise that that's basically making these weird, like, if you had a dome of glass, you know how that'll warp your
Mm-hmm.
perception
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
kind of like that. So you have those little blobs that show up. So when you're dealing with your tracking, it's expecting that to be a straight line, but it's going all like curvy around it. And so sometimes when you're swinging your sabers, if you're swinging up here, your saber will go this way, or if you're down here, it'll go straight like you would expect it to. So that's kind of what I've been experiencing in the headset.
But how much of that is the cameras and how much of that is the predictive algorithm? You gotta consider at what point which
No, no,
takes
no. This
over.
is this is just on the headset,
Okay.
just
Alright.
natively on the headset by itself. So
Okay.
I was playing the Beat Saber demo, and it's a little bit older build. I think it's a 12.3 build, like super old. Um, yeah, that's what I was experiencing there. In Synth Riders, it's not noticeable at all because of how you're moving, as opposed to the fast
Mm.
speeds that you're trying to do, and it's trying to, take those points of data that it's sampling from you. Um, let's see, controllers. They are almost exactly the same as CV1 controllers. Very slightly larger. They feel like the feel of them, the words, ergonomic grip is very slightly different. Like it's slightly larger and it's less curvy. So it's more of a straight stick. And then the major difference is the ring, which is no longer underneath your hand; it's up on top, so that the headset can see it better. Which totally makes sense. You need to have the part that's facing the headset where it's looking down at the controllers up on top, so you can
Does
move around
that
it.
change something to the balance of the controller? So it's like maybe even better than before?
Um, it it just really moved the center of gravity. Um, I would say it feels a little bit higher than CV1 controllers, just because the ring, goes down, and it's more
Mm-hmm.
like center of gravity feels to me more like it's right in front of your middle finger, and on these it feels more like it's kind of between these two fingers, my index and thumb.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it just moves the center of gravity on it very slightly. Um, the angle on it, I did have to adjust in Beat Saber by a little bit because it's a kind of a weird angle for the controller. I'm not sure why they decided on that particular angle because it doesn't line up with the actual grip of the controller.
So there's a special detection for the controller, and then they have a built-in angle for that controller already. Is that correct? And you
What?
had to adjust that controller specific.
So I'm sorry. When I was playing on PC, when I did it over Link on PC, I had to adjust that angle because it was very strange. I don't know about it on natively, just because I was on that old build and it didn't have the option to adjust anything, and I was just playing through it real quick just to see how it performed. Yeah, that's good performance natively. Controllers are good. Tracking is good. I would say really good, especially for mobile and being the 4-camera inside out design. Like I said, the display is phenomenal. Playing over Link, it's still only 72 hertz. They have yet to release the 90 hertz update for it, which I'm really excited about. But playing it over Link, it's very smooth. It's very responsive. The tracking is the same as it is natively. So, good expectations there as far as
Small question in between, because you're mentioning the 72 hertz. I just tried on the Index the 120 hertz instead of the 90 I had on the HTC Vive and the Index all the time now, even though when I was playing on my old hardware, I even reduced that to 80 hertz. And what's your perception on having a higher refresh rate there? Because I have to admit, between 90 and 120, I didn't see and feel a difference, at least not that much, that it would make me wish to play everything on 120 hertz. So what's your perception there?
The difference between 72 and I'm used to the CV1, so I'm used to the 90 hertz display. And then when I tried the Rift S and the Index, from 90 hertz to that display, like I was playing Project Cars 2, and so I didn't really have enough previous data to kind of differentiate what was different and how it felt different. It pretty much felt the same to me, without being able to play Beat Saber or something that I'm used to in it. From the CV1 to the Quest 2, however, it's kind of like, well, for me, it's kind of like just having an idea that something's different. Like, hey, this feels slightly different, but you can't quite put your finger on it, kind of thing. It's been said that the headset is actually capable, the displays are capable of 120 hertz. It's unlikely we're ever going to see it unlocked at 120 hertz because that's going to devour the battery faster than a swarm of ants.
Also, it depends probably if the graphic unit is fast enough to process that properly. Probably
exactly.
depends on that as well.
We'll probably more likely see that in a subsequent unit, but the displays themselves, the hardware itself is capable of 120 hertz. So that's exciting. We'll probably see some experimentation after people crack the bootloader on this thing and start opening things up. But here's to hope people crack this bootloader.
Also, as we are talking about those. Yeah, as we are talking about those different headsets and stuff, MrLiveProducer, you said yourself you have tried several ones as well, and I think
I have 3 headsets at the moment. I have the original Vive, which is my main headset. I also have a Lenovo mixed reality headset, which I picked up for cheap, and I also have a PS4 VR headset because
you have a PS4
one of it apparently for the PS4. So I want to get myself at least a Rift or something from that mob. So I've got the whole trilogy, so the whole lot, so I can experience every game on every system. But I am actually very happy with my original Vive, to be honest.
Mhm.
The the Windows Mixed Reality headset, again, it's you don't have any IPD filtering. You have to really position. It's the same thing with the PS4 VR. You don't have much IPD. You can't really adjust it as much as the other headsets. So you have to really much have your head in the exactly right position to run that, which is slightly annoying. That being said, the PS4 VR is a great little headset for that cost. Again, you have to consider that every factor, every VR is made for a different use case.
Hmm.
So, uh, so if someone came to me and said, "What would I suggest?" I would say, "What's your budget?" And there's some money, get Quest 2.
Yeah.
If you can deal with all the Quest 2 stuff. If you've got like $1,000 US, get yourself an index, save yourself some problems. It all depends on how a person wants to use it, is what you would suggest to a person.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like if you want to play Beat Saber exclusively, get an index. Like hands down, get an index. Don't mess around with any other headsets. You're gonna play Beat
Huh.
Saber, and you want to
Get
do
an
if
index.
you
Yeah.
want to do
Yeah.
high end, get an index. Like
So how about the refresh rates there? Because I think the PSVR has not the 90, if I'm correct. It has
No,
less,
it's not
if
the
I'm
best.
correct.
70, yeah, 75, isn't it?
I mean, I have played with the PSVR at my sister's system, and it works. It works good. No question about that. But I couldn't also now, because I didn't play it next to each other. So I didn't play Beat Saber on the PSVR and directly on PC and could compare it. But of course, you feel there's something different. But as you have those three more or less at home at the same time, did you like compare those visual fidelity impressions?
As much as I can, because I don't have Beat Saber on the PS4 VR. I don't have. Out of the difference, I actually found that surprisingly enough, the Windows Mixed Reality headset actually gave me a bit more of a cleaner signal in Beat Saber, which is surprising.
Hmm.
But the problem with the PS4 VR, well, not the PS4, the Windows Reality was the actual tracking. It's not the best tracking, but it felt cleaner inside headset. The PS4 VR, I just looked on Wikipedia, is 120 hertz refresh. But that could be linked to PS4 and PS4 Pro. So it could be a limited amount, but according to stats, it is 120 hertz refresh for the PS4 VR.
Wow.
Okay.
Seems like people should be snagging those and playing Beat Saber on PC with it. I mean, if it's
Again, it requires a bit more prep work in the back end.
just the headset, not the controllers, just the headset.
No,
You can
the
mash
scary thing
everything
is
together with Steam VR.
the PS4 VR. If you have PS3 Move controls, they're exactly the same as the PS4 Move controls. Just the USB interface is different. So you're going from micro, mini to micro, I think, as the control, as the interface. So if you can find yourself PS3 Move controls for $20, pick those up and they'll work in PS4 VR, which you say like in Australia, 2 PS4 Move controls is $120. It's insane. It drives me nuts. Welcome to Australia, where we pay through the nose for everything.
Oh well. How about the Quest 2? Is that available in Australia?
Yes, it is. I think it's like 450, 500. I'll have a quick look if you wish me to, because I want to find out myself. It's on the list, but again, with everything that Amazon's been doing lately, I might not because of reasons. $479 Australian from Oculus. So that's pretty good. That's 64. If you want to get the 256, look at about $639.
Oh, okay. Is
To
there
put that in perspective, sorry, go ahead.
Is there something more you want to add about the Quest 2, Cypher? As you had?
I think I pretty much covered everything I can think of. If anybody has any questions on it or whatever, I can answer one or two real quick. But
so it is possible to be used wireless, but then on its own, or is that also working with PC?
Not okay. So Oculus would say that wireless is not yet working with PC, but technically it is because you can use ALVR or virtual desktop in order to you install an app on the Quest. You do have to be in developer mode, which means you have to register a developer account with Oculus. and then unlock developer mode on your Oculus through the app on your phone. And then once you gain access to that, you can sideload things. You can use like SideQuest to put indie games and other free games and SideQuest paid games and those kind of things on it. Um, yeah, but
Okay, so it is something
it's
for the
not
future that.
supported. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
okay.
not officially supported, but it does work. Like I said, I've been playing for the last week or two on it wirelessly. I've
It
been
does
playing a lot
work.
of Synth Riders. Yeah, it does work. I did have a successful Synth Riders stream um, on Thursday with it
Hmm.
in wireless mode. I went
Yeah,
the
that's
entire
pretty cool.
stream.
Because, I mean, especially when you say that the visual fidelity is on par with the Index, because for the Index, there's no wireless kit available yet. I mean, there has been published a patent about it, but
big caveat.
Mhm.
The compression kind of kills the quality a little bit.
okay.
Yeah, so the visual fidelity of the image that's coming through over the wireless isn't quite as crisp as you would get natively,
Okay.
especially playing in Synth Riders where there's such a differentiation of color in such a small space right in front of you, right where all the orbs are coming at you and then all the walls are spawning. You end up with a lot of kind of amalgamous blobs of color.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, okay,
is
okay.
that an orb? Is that and then starts getting closer, and then you can kind of see it. Um, but the same thing happens on the CV1 because of the pixel density.
Mm.
So it's kind of I'm kind of 50-50 on it. Like, yeah, it kind of destroys the original quality of the headset because I'm doing it over wireless, but I'm gaining that wireless ability, and so it's basically on par for me. And I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. I'm more of kind of the hacky type. I like to make things work
Sure.
in ways that they're not necessarily supposed to. So like, playing it
Pushing the
wirelessly.
limits.
Exactly. That's what FeVR's about, right?
Yeah.
Trying to push VR as far as we can. So yeah, I'm using my Quest 2 to stream with wirelessly on my PC the best it possibly can. It's a little bit frustrating because some of the latency issues and things, but I still have a lot of fun in it. And if any of you want to get a Quest 2 and do the developer hack on it, it's actually relatively simple to get the wireless going. You install
That's
a
cool.
Steam driver.
That's really cool.
Yep, you install a VR, you install a Steam driver, you tell it to go. You turn on your Quest 2, make sure your PC is connected to the same network the Quest 2 is, and then you can tell it to trust it. And then Steam goes, "Oh, hey, you have a headset and 2 controllers."
That's how it should work.
Yeah,
if standards are really doing what they should do, then that's how it should work.
Yep. Now the
oh hey, there are
another big
14
caveat.
competing standards. We need to unify them all. Half a year later, oh hey, there are 15 competing standards.
Oh God.
In the interest of pushing the limits here, we're also pushing the limits of alpha software. So if you do decide to go that route, expect things to crash and break a lot.
That's what you get for tinkering, but I think it's often worth it. It's totally worth it. Yeah. You learn something in the process.
That's what you get with alpha work. It's like,
oh yeah,
you run beta software, you expect it to break. Yeah. That's what I tell people. It's like, well, I'm running a beta version of this and it keeps breaking. I'm going, and have you put in a bug report? No. That's what a beta means. You're there. You are the beta. You are the test dummy. Something breaks, you submit your report.
I mean, that's what a beta really means. But if you look at games releasing into beta, public beta, whatever, it's not a beta anymore. This is the showcase for the game. So people have been shifting their perception about betas. For software developers, a beta or even an alpha, that's totally clear. Yeah, it's meant to break. It's a test. You have to test it, report it, so we can fix it before release. But big publishers put out public betas now as advertisement, and that's why people behave different now.
Maybe Steam should take down some of the reviews for the early access games. Like, I don't think you should be able to put a review on an early access game because it's still alpha. It's still considered alpha. It hasn't hit point release yet. It's still alpha or beta. And why would you be able to put reviews on it? Like, well, this is broken and I hate this and this. Okay, well, 2 weeks later, all that's fixed. Now the review's still sitting there. Like, that's damaging to the game.
Yeah, if the people are not updating their reviews on that, That's the real pity, but that's how the world works. You test it, you get your impression, you post about it, and that's about it probably. And if you have a bad impression, that won't change because you are like abandoning the game because you had a bad impression. So yeah, it's tricky.
True.
Right on. So we have another big topic here on the list, and now we can get from
centric, relevant, musicy topic.
Yeah, because we are all like enjoying music in games a lot, and we totally want to do that in the future as well. Not only for VR games, also for pancake games, music is used, and there has been quite some new insights just recently, and things have been happening.
It's like insane lately.
Yeah, there was an email going around. I think so far only for Twitch partners mostly. That
some people I know who aren't Twitch partners have received the same email.
Oh, okay. So yeah, there has been something where Twitch was giving you the impression they were very kind and took care of something that was DMCA related, and that's your only chance. And now you are in response of your channel on your own again. But here are the tools and stuff. What's possible? There, MrLiveProducer has looked into a little bit more than we have because he has to deal with that all day long. Yeah. So enlighten us a little bit.
All right, a bit of backstory first. I do live production on combat sports, Muay Thai events, or pretty much that kind of event. So I need to be aware of a lot of this stuff, especially for when I'm doing live broadcasts for combat sports and other stuff. I always need to be aware about copyright law, music law, and all this shit. Now, point of perspective, I'm not a lawyer. Do not take anything I say as
none of us is.
None of us are lawyers. But I have to say this out loud because if I don't, people say, well, I heard from a random person on Twitch that I'm in full use of accessibility on this music. Huh?
What? You cannot take the people who are writing and stating stuff on the internet serious? What? That's new.
No, you always, but yeah.
Always do your research.
Always do your research about your stuff because otherwise you're going to go to Texas and say, well, now I'm going to leave it there. So anyway, Twitch has released what's known as soundtracks by Twitch in the last 2 weeks. Now, they're doing that in response to the whole DMCA and all that stuff that's been going on. But before that, we had Twitch was pretty much doing complete blanket audio mutes on their VODs and their clips. So everyone's been furiously deleting their VODs and clips because there hasn't been any tools out there to help you manage that information, which is what you're supposed to do in DMCA. Like if you run a YouTube channel and you got a DMCA claim, they tell you usually what the song is, where it is in your record, and they mute it for you. Twitch doesn't do that. It just does a blanket mute now. So that being said, about 2 weeks ago, was it 2 weeks or a week ago? I can't remember. It's been that long. About a week ago?
Something like that. Friday. 1.5, yeah.
Yeah. Let's just say they released an email saying, you know what? We're good people. We've had so many DMCA claims. You're just going to do a blanket clean up all your VODs. You've had something that could have been tagged and we have just muted everything. And this is your warning, say delete everything. So people are furiously deleting their clips, downloading them. But you have to consider this thing. To broadcast music on Twitch, you need to have broadcast and VOD and clips. They're two different entities now. So if you're doing a broadcast of music on Twitch, Twitch actually has paid for a blanket performance license. So they have I'll say PROs, what it is, performance right organizations. So you've got the ASCAP, the BMI, and CSCAC. They're the people who handle the music performancing for online and broadcast. So I can give me a few seconds. I'll tell you what exactly they are, because in Australia we have what's known as AMCOS and other AMCOS and other mobs like that, which handle the music licensing. But so technically, as we're playing Beat Saber or any rhythm games online right now, we technically have a license to perform that music. However, we do not have the master license. The master license is the license that is usually required to use a song. So we don't have the master license to use a song, but Twitch has the performance rights license to cover themselves because they're using a loophole called how do I pronounce it again? I actually had this problem earlier. I'm horrible with pronunciations.
The thingy? Ephemeral?
Ephemeral license. Now, that license or that law, mostly in America, covers you if you're live broadcasting a sports event or an event where you do not have. It's pretty much just gives you temporary usage of copyright material because you don't have the time to get the license. So technically, Twitch is using ephemeral licensing along with the ability to not dictate the song. So this is what the problem with Twitch Soundtracks is that it's a internet radio station where you can go forwards in the track list, but you can't go backwards. You can't specify what the songs are. So that's how to get around that. So pretty much using what's known as internet radio station as their license. So technically, they're getting around playing a mechanical license. Mechanical license is what you need. So I just want to make sure I got this right. That mechanical license, because mechanical license musicians, because mechanical licensing is very interesting. Here we go. To play the music on a desktop music player. So if you're using Spotify or Google or what was Google Play Music or YouTube Music or other desktop-based music players, you need a mechanical license to control that. All right, sorry about that. So from a broadcasting perspective, us playing music online, as long as we have the master license, we are fine. The problem is coming from the VODs and the clips. For VOD and clip stuff, you need to have what's known as a synchronization license. So right now, if we were playing music in the background, we will be putting vision to music or music to vision, and it will be requiring a synchronization license because we are doing that process. What Twitch has not got is the synchronization license. And that is where the problems are coming through with the DMCAs for the VODs and the clips. Twitch does not have a blanket license to handle synchronization licensing, and that's what's causing us the problems. So it's not the live broadcasts giving us the problems, it's the VODs and the clips because Twitch doesn't have the synchronization license for it. Okay.
Yeah, I understand.
It's a very, very roundabout way of saying it, but that's the crux of the matter. So, and then we can keep going on to non-interactive and interactive streams, especially for broadcasting. But since I've just recently found out Twitch actually does have a PRO, so the only problem we've got now is the master license usage. So if you have Monster Cat or other clients like that, like when this whole DMCA stuff happened originally, all these music companies were coming out saying that you have a license to use your music in broadcasts. They were saying that we technically have what's known as a master license to broadcast their music in our streams, but they didn't actually specify we've got the synchronization license for our streams. So we could still be having problems with DMCA stuff because there's no sync license involved, but if the artists have said, yes, you've got the master license, we're fine. The problem is a lot of musicians sell the rights, their synchronization license rights, to the record company, so they don't have control of that half the time. So we still got to go through the record companies to get the synchronization license to cover our butts.
Yeah, it's a really, really tricky issue. I mean, I totally understand.
It's massively tricky out there.
Yeah, I totally understand that there's a difference between broadcasting stuff and the recorded stuff. But from just what you said with the synchronization license, I think the easiest solution would just be turn off your VODs so that nothing is saved and you're fine.
After a stream, go through your clips, download what you want to keep, then delete them.
So, that would be an easy solution.
License, the ephemeral license. Yes.
Ephemeral,
I'm horrible with English. I'm Australian. I'm horrible with English. I'm great with Australian, horrible with English. So if you have ephemeral license, you technically got a couple of hours to clear yourself off before DMCA hit. That being said, there is the whole auto trigger system now. So as soon as you play like a Rammstein song, you're halfway through uploading that TikTok, it's gone. Same with Marilyn Manson. A friend of mine was uploading a clip of him doing Sweet Dream. This is Halloween. He got halfway uploaded onto TikTok and it got deleted because of licensing agreements.
That particular song gets hammered pretty hard.
Exactly. But that's the thing. With the new auto things, it is getting harder and harder to differentiate between what's recorded and what's broadcast and what's going to happen is that they're going to be what's happening on Facebook and a little bit on YouTube. If you play more than, I think, 50% of copyright material, the legal usage of that is like 50% or under 50%, then you can get away with it. But if you use a lot more of the same music, which the system flags as copyright ID'd, it will shut down your live stream. It's them covering their butts, even from a live stream point of view, because they don't have the synchronization license. They do have PRO and they have ephemeral licensing, but they still want to worry about the potential of lawsuits, and so they don't want to claim DMCA safe harbor and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
So ask questions in chats. I am keeping an eye on a lot of chats, just so feel free to ask me any stuff about that stuff.
There was the same question as I said, so turning off WhatsApp and clips and you're safe. But we covered
you're not
that.
Safe. It's harder to find you. It's not hard to find you. It's harder to say that you didn't know. Because people are making bots and doing live music scrapings. Like one of the reasons, like when I'm playing Beat Saber or other music games, I leave in-game audio turned all the way up because it's harder. It does sort of futz around with the live ID system. So every time you're doing a block hit, it's changing the waveform, and it's harder for it to pick up on it.
So we need to turn on more of those hit sounds.
Yeah, and as Live says,
stranger, more obnoxious.
TTS as well is a great little thing for that because it's introducing audio noise into the waveform, which makes it harder for the audio scanners to actually find it. So
yeah, I was getting away with that. I think even with a Rammstein song, because normally that's muted on Twitch totally. And that time it didn't, because TTS was speaking a lot in that time. So that song probably didn't just get detected by the algorithms. So that can work.
But you have to come to the point of at what point does get in. You don't want to get around this stuff. You don't want to say, I'm doing this to get around this.
Yeah.
You have to say that I'm doing this to improve the stream quality. And if it's it doesn't flag something, so much the better. But at what point does a music file in the game has to be obscured so that you to not pick up on the auto thing? Like a lot of GT Grand Theft Auto speedrunners turn off in-game radio because they don't want to have to worry about all that music triggering DMCAs. Especially for a speedrun, you could be in world record pace for a speedrun, and then your record for it gets taken off, and you can't prove it that you did a world record pace.
I mean, it's what's the issue there? I mean, the laws which are made for those the DMCA
it's laws to protect artist copyrights, which we do need. However, they were made before internet. The internet became the internet,
and
so there's no real provisos for that. It's been mashed together to make it work, but there hasn't been a way to get around it. Like in Australia, we have what's known as an online mini broadcast license, which I am trying to get to cover myself for Twitch. But that's, again, only for broadcast. It doesn't cover you for... It's not a sync license. So it's a trick that you need to be... Not tricky. It's a lot of stuff there. But that becomes the point from a lot of stuff. It's like if you're a musician and you've submitted your music to Twitch soundtracks, you have to do 15,000 plays or interactions to count as one sale on Twitch soundtracks. And this is also on Spotify and all the other music streaming. So if you have one song uploaded to all the networks and people play it all over the place, you have to hit about 1,500 streams or spins or plays of that song to count as a sale. So if you're just starting out with music, this is a massive undertaking. So I would suggest to people who want to get music out there, just get it played as much as you can. Like, get your master license. Give it to people for free. Get people to play your songs on rhythm games. And the more that the song propagates through the system, the more money you'll make. Because especially for Twitch soundtrack songs, however, there's a lot more about Twitch soundtracks I can go on to, but it all depends if we want to keep moving on to the next topic or we want to keep going about this stuff, because I can waffle on about this for hours. And I have.
I mean, some opinions here and there.
4-hour stream of just me complaining about the way that they are delay and all that stuff.
No worries. There are some. I want to hear some opinions of Cypher, and I have some opinions on my own as well. So, for example, I think totally it's a difference how you are playing music in or on your streams. For example, if the stream is meant as a music entertainment, like, for example, if you're a DJ, then you are there to entertain people with your music or with the music you are mastering together, etc. And that's, I think, totally different to having music in games, because there it's more like you want to play that game, show that game. And in Beat Saber, it's more even like, hey, there's a challenge going on because there's competition in getting a high score, but it happens to be in a song. But the song is not the thing that's in front of everything.
Yeah,
so I think that should
play, not the song.
Yeah, that should totally be taken into a point.
You're talking about transformative media there, and what we do for Beat Saber and anything like that is technically not classified as transformative media, because we're not. This full song is there.
Yeah, true. It's not how it is right now. It's just my opinion how it should be improved. So
it should be improved a lot.
Yeah. So that should totally be a point when there is a new law being made, that if people like it's the intention that's behind where the song is being played. And if it's happening in a game as a background music, it's not the focus. The song is not the focus. Of course, music is so important in games everywhere. If it's silent, it's getting boring. Nobody is watching or wants to play a game where there's no audio at all. So if you're walking like in World of Warcraft or even flying in Elite Dangerous for an hour in one direction, just because it's cool, because you like it, you like to enjoy the environment, and there's no music, it's boring. You don't want to play that, and if you're streaming that, nobody wants to watch that. There might be a minority who does, but not the most of the people. So the focus is totally different.
What I mean is, like, that's where you can use the ephemeral use license to get around that bullshit a little bit. Because it's music that's playing in the background. If you just have a random playlist going on and you don't know what's coming up again, that's one. If you want to come to a good point, that's what Twitch soundtracks by Twitch, is good for, is because then you got ephemeral use to get around that. You don't have the license for the VOD and the. This is the thing. Twitch soundtracks do not have the synchronization usage law. If you broadcast with Twitch soundtracks, the VOD is still going to get muted because they don't have the synchronization rule for it. They don't have synchronization for it. And it's actually outlined in their FAQ about Twitch soundtracks. They've got broadcast, they don't have synchronization. So again, they're on an ephemeral use to get around that bullshit stuff.
Yeah, I even thought that only the music was being muted and not the other sounds, but apparently the complete VOD is muted then, where that music plays. I don't know exactly how that works.
I haven't actually streamed with Twitch soundtrack yet, so I don't know exactly what happens. But
I mean, the other thing you can use there are royalty-free music.
Royalty-free.
Sorry, but you know what I mean. My English is way worse than my Chinese, but well, but that's a way to have music not being muted. Even though even that's tricky. Apparently, they are still getting muted, and you have to reach out and say, no, I am allowed to stream this, and it's a royalty-free music, so please don't mute my VODs. So that's the only way to be completely safe. But I haven't seen that. DMCAs
on Twitch and Twitter, on Twitch at least, don't turn off VODs once the stream's done. Reclip your download your clips, delete your clips, and you're done.
Oh.
Do that within 6 hours, and ephemeral use license usually applies. But again, who wants after a Beat Saber stream? You just pretty much wrecked after a Beat Saber stream. Anyway, sorry about that.
Not to mention how much data that actually is.
Oh yeah.
Gigs and gigs.
Oh well. Yeah, so Cypher, what's your opinion on all those things? What are you doing? Are you deleting your VODs after the stream?
I am waiting with bated breath to see what Twitch actually does to protect its streamers, to be completely honest. I'll do something if it becomes an issue for me personally. Like if I get a letter or something, I'll start taking stuff down. But as it is right now, they still mute out parts of VODs. They still do,
okay, I think
the minimal stuff. And I know most of like the menu music that I run and the like the talking music that I run is my own stuff, so I don't have to worry a lot about DMCA coming after me for my own music, which is nice. And I was actually thinking about making that available for everyone. FeVR also, if you want to play some of my tunes or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But yeah, that's pretty much my take on it. I'm just kind of trying to sit back and watch what happens. I don't have any legal counsel on that, and I don't know if it's necessarily relevant to me at this juncture because I'm not making big waves on Twitch. So see what happens.
Yeah,
I've been seeing streamers actually using YouTube streaming just testing the waters on other streaming platforms because it feels like to a lot of people that Twitch are pretty much killing their infrastructure. There's not the stuff in the background that's helping people from working out what they're doing wrong. Just saying, you've been wrong, go sit in the corner. It's not like, you've been wrong, this is how you fix it. Now sit in the corner.
Yeah, that's missing.
And that
let's hope they improve on that.
They need to improve on that to help get people to be more, even just teaching people the difference between what you can and what you can't do. And even just turning off VODs. And you have to actively opt into VODs, not just automatically turn it on.
Yeah.
Just small little quality of life improvements like that is just what they need to do, just to help people understand that it's not like, oh yeah, this is what's going on. Use Twitch soundtracks and you're all good. You're not all good because that's covering you from their point of view. It's not covering you from games. It's not covering you for music. It's not covering you anywhere else. There's so much that they need to do to help educate their users.
Yeah, it has to evolve still.
Yeah, Twitch users have been doing a lot of this a lot of the times, and they think they can get away with it. And now this is happening. Everyone's going, what's this mean for me? It's like Twitch Sings is probably fallen the foul of the same thing because they don't have the synchronization license for the duets, or they paid like a 3 or 4 year contract deal with the music providers, and now that's come up, everything else has hit the fan, and they haven't had enough money to pay for the licensing.
I think that's how it has to go. I mean, this is how the world often operates. If there is no problem, they will keep going on. And only if the problems are like escalating, then things will change. And that's what probably has to happen on Twitch. And that's why, I mean, maybe it's even a good thing if those DMCA claims are happening, because now they are forced to act and fix this. And otherwise, I mean, there's always in the goodwill, or it has always been in the goodwill of the publishers not to take your channel down or doing those claims. They are tolerating that mostly. I mean, there's also a benefit for them. I mean, if you are like showing it to other people, especially games, big streamers, if they play new games. Just recently, what about Phasmophobia, Among Us, and Fall Guys? Would they have been that successful if not the big streamers haven't played that? And still, they don't have the license to stream those games. But there is a mutual benefit.
I was talking about this in the FeVR Discord. It's like, when you buy a music CD, you don't buy the music, you buy the license, listen to their music on that CD. in a very, very heavy regulated arrangement. When you buy a movie on DVD or VHS or Beta or Umatix, or I'm an old person. I remember VHS.
Me too.
But when you buy, when you buy a movie, you don't buy the movie. You buy the license to watch the movie in the privacy of your own home.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same for games on Steam. You don't buy the game.
Exactly.
You buy a license to play that. Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I prefer to get physical games.
Yeah, physical is still...
So when games get delisted, I can still play them as much as I want to because I own a physical medium. I have the license to play that game.
Yeah. One thing I want to add as a closure here is that also did not all the DMCA thing does not also only affect streamers but also downloaders. So there has been a tool called YouTube DL, YouTube Downloader, which is free software, and it was on GitHub, and they got a claim as well, or not a claim. It was like, hey, your software is meant to circumvent those licenses, and that's why it's illegal, and you have to block access to it. And that happened on GitHub. And there is from the IRAA a letter to them. And the special thing about that is, I mean, it's not that songs have been played there. It's like you are not obeying to the licenses of certain songs that are on YouTube, which you are able to download with that tool. And the special thing about that letter is they name 3 songs where the copyright holders or the publishers are taking actions now. Because that didn't happen in those Twitch letters. In those Twitch letters, there was just, there has been a DMCA claim, and we are doing you a favor and deleting this stuff. And that's it. You don't know where, you don't know which song, you don't know which VOD even. So there you know which songs it is about. So that's not an uninteresting part. That's a pretty interesting part. But that just as a side note.
Yeah. It's a lot of stuff going on in the background there, which as streamers and as people who enjoy music games and rhythm games and other stuff, we need to be aware of and just have to do that. But that being said, on the YouTube function, I don't... Oh, Phantom Doggy.
Phantom Doggy.
Yes, my Phantasmagoria in real life, my doggy.
I see a cloud up here.
This is Halloween. This is Halloween. But as I was...
you just get us a strike. How dare you?
I know, I'm horrible. But my dog has just ruined my train of thought. Fighters don't send because when a fighter walks out to music during my events, they send the DJ usually a YouTube link for the video file that the audio they want to play during the fight, or they send them a Spotify link. Now, technically, the DJs, most of them do, use a Spotify for Business account, which has PRO licensing built into it and tracks how many times a song is played. So when, like once every couple of weeks, they upload what tracks are played, and then they pay per licensing agreement. I don't use Spotify for Business myself, but there is Spotify for Business, which tracks the amount of times a song was played, and they pay per the license. So, at what point do you tell a fighter that no, you can't have this music because I have the license to play that music? Or, it's silly the way that everything was set up.
Yeah, right on. But that have been the topics we wanted to talk about. So I think if nobody has something to add, I mean, if there's something we want to add and still talk about.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to answer any questions people have about production work, graphic work. And also, did you want to touch about the whole thing about Oculus and Facebook and only run one headset on? You can't run 2 headsets on the same Facebook account.
That sounds
and
a little...
and the Oculus head straps snapping, and there's a lot of stuff going that Oculus and / Facebook are doing to have a great headset, and then they do all this stuff.
Yeah, they're shooting themselves in the foot in a few different ways, forcing users to...
I mean, as Facebook and HMDs aren't a topic here in Germany anymore, I didn't get any of that.
Yeah. No, that's right. That's right. I read about that. So it was last night or this morning. A lot of people experiencing a lot of broken Elite head straps. I paid $50 for those things, and they're supposed to be more comfortable than these default little guys. Which honestly, the default. That's one thing I didn't talk about. The default head strap on these. It's fine. Like it's perfectly fine. For most heads. Lynx has a little bit of an issue because it covers her ears, like directly covers her ears on this side. And that's about it. Like this, just ear position, like whatever angle this thing ends up at. If it's good and it's over your ear, you're perfect. If not, then you might want to look at some other options. But apparently not. Apparently not the deluxe head strap because people are breaking those.
I mean, I just know from the HTC Vive that the DAS Deluxe Audio Strap was way more comfortable than the standard strap, because it's like with the Index, you loosen a screw at the end so it turns open, and then when you put it on your head, you screw it back. And with the straps, you like have to loosen the strap and then pull them tight again. So it's not that convenient and easy to take the headset off and put it on again. But with those audio straps, it totally is. So if they break, hello, that's not a good thing.
Well, what's really nice is they actually anticipated people making aftermarket things for these, because the side strap just pops right off, and they've already got Thingiverse designs for that deluxe audio strap adapter and designs. And I've been looking at those. I'm mostly waiting for the community to come out with some better design.
Cool
strap. Because I just have a feeling Oculus isn't going to step up with this particular thing.
No.
I'm a little iffy on the deluxe audio strap plus battery. Like, do I only get 2 more hours out of that? I'm not paying $150 for 2 hours.
Like, that being said, when I bought my Vive headset, I bought mine secondhand, and it came with the deluxe audio strap and everything else. I was going, you know what? I'm happy, because I've never actually had to run a Vive without the deluxe audio strap. So that probably colors my experience with VR, because I'm so used to having it there. It's just twist it, take it off, take it on.
Even the PlayStation VR has something like that. You don't have to pull.
It does, yes.
Yeah.
There's no strap. It's a twist and a button to release.
Indeed.
So yeah, I'm trying to think even to a point that the Windows Mixed Reality headset I've got doesn't have straps. It's a enclosed unit.
It's the Halo. It kind of goes right forehead to the back.
Yeah, the Halo. So it's very interesting that they've made the design choice to go with that, since every other headset isn't doing that nowadays. Or if they do it, they may crack into the cost.
Probably cost thingy, so to keep the price lower. I mean, I don't know how much that would have increased the price, but if they say, we want to get a broad market share, then let's do it as not expensive as possible. Where can we save some money here and there? Yeah, okay, let's save on the straps. Okay, well, I mean, if there's an upgrade possibility and people can do that, why not? It's extra money they can make. But if those thingies break, then that's not that good.
Yeah. So yeah, you pay like an extra $50 USD for the deluxe audio strap, was it? Lofa?
Yeah, no, not just the deluxe head strap.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an extra $50. The deluxe head strap with battery is $150, and I believe the battery is only an additional 2-hour battery. Well, which would be fine for most users. But I'm kind of a power user, and I like to be in my headset for 4 hours at a time.
Yeah, so that comes the next problem. What are people's thoughts on the whole fact that if you got 2 headsets that's connected to the same Oculus account, you can only use one at a time?
That seems extremely poorly thought out to me, because people that have children aren't going to be registering all of their children's headsets to their individual Facebook accounts, because not everybody's allowing their children to even be on Facebook, and it's stupid. I mean, it's straight up just a stupid decision on Facebook's part not to allow people to use their account for multiple headsets.
That's probably their way to force all the people on Facebook. So yeah, you have to create an account. Everybody has. Make more accounts. But how about no?
It's not relevant to you being in Germany, of course, because
not anymore. Yeah, those headsets have stopped being sold here because of those regulations now that are being forced upon people, and the data protection laws here in Germany are pretty strict, and probably Facebook didn't have the energy to deal with that, and that's why they thought, okay, before we have to fix those issues, we rather stop selling those things. Okay.
That's to the point where I think in Australia and our lack of index is because Australia is pretty much the people who spanked Valve to get refunds for games. I think this is their way of getting back at us. A little conspiracy theory.
It's like it could, yeah, it could be something.
Us doing worldwide refunds, you're not getting the index. It's like, oh man.
Oh well.
Well, unfortunately, we'll just have to kind of see how that pans out and what Facebook decides to do moving forward.
Yeah.
See how they respond.
Yeah, either way, but I think we can come to a close here. Right on? Anybody?
I'm good there.
Okay. Then, yeah, that has been very interesting insight into those DMCA things. Thanks, Mr. LiveProducer, for those.
I'm always happy to talk to people about that stuff because it's stuff that I do work on.
Yeah, that has been very interesting. Especially, I didn't know about those Epiphany licenses and the sync
actually,
license.
When I first saw the term, I went, wait, how the hell do you pronounce that, Google?
Yeah, but that was very interesting. I didn't know about that at all. I mean, you listen to things on YouTube and stuff, and as they aren't lawyers themselves as well, you always take that with a pinch of salt, but still.
Yeah, and that's why whenever I'm talking about this stuff, say, I'm not a lawyer, but this is what I found out.
Yeah, that's
and if people want to see the sources for this stuff, just hit me up. I'll link you to all the articles.
I'm more of a detective.
It's been very interesting.
Gathered, make your own conclusions.
So yeah, thank you very much about that. Also, Cypher, thank you so much for telling us all about your hands-on experience on the Quest 2.
Thanks for
listening. To all our viewers, thank you so much for watching. See you in 2 weeks again with our next guest. I think I know who it will be. And yeah, see you then. Have a good week, 2 weeks. Have a good one, and bye-bye.